Welcome everybody to another edition of Cindy and Josh's Kiss and Tell. Today we are going to talk about having heartfelt understanding. And what does that really mean for you and your partner to have heartfelt understanding? What we're really talking about is understanding where your partner is coming from in a lot of different ways. Because the idea is that I might have about something in a given situation may be different than something that you might have, right?
Yeah.
So you brought up the example of the car. The infamous car. When I'm driving or when she's driving and one of us is riding passenger. What are the rules for that? What are the expectations of what is it that I do as the driver and what is it you do as the passenger? And what is it you do as the driver and what is it I do as the passenger?
Yeah.
And this is a huge lesson that we had to learn just driving cross country this past year. So doing a complete trip from Los Angeles to Baltimore and back again.
Yeah.
You really have to get clear on like what are the roles? Like there is no clear-cut idea of roles or rules or any of this, and both of us come into this from our own life experience, our own families, and we bring those rules to the table and to the car. So it's good to just unravel those and figure out what it is. So let's give an example. So what were your rules when you were driving and I was riding?
Back in the day?
Back in the day, before we've kind of figured this all out.
There weren't really any, except like maybe if, like it's so hard to explain because there were like no rules.
Okay.
Like,
okay.
It was pretty much nothing. Like even picking a radio station, that wasn't like, oh, passenger, can you please do that for me? Because if you found it, you found it, kind of thing. Or well, I guess in my parents' cars, usually it's always been like they choose the radio stations because it's their car.
Yeah.
But I swear, even when my mom drives with me, she's still picking a station.
Okay.
It's like her way, or But yeah, there weren't any rules about even. I haven't really driven so far as we did, like across country. Like the longest trip I've ever made, was just I don't know, either from where I grew up to Tahoe, maybe, or the trip from where I grew up to Los Angeles. It really was like a 5-hour, 6-hour, 8-hour trip. Really was the longest I've ever done.
Gotcha. And my family grew up doing cross-country road trips, and I guess I don't know if it was a spoken rule or an unspoken rule, is that the driver was the driver and the passenger was the navigator, and part of the passenger's responsibility was to keep the driver on the road, to help them with the food, to help them with the radio, to whatever it was to facilitate them. So I just kind of grew up that way, and always helping out the driver, and I think that I brought that expectation to us a little bit in terms of, maybe a lot, in terms of just, what were the rules that I had. So when I was driving, I was just expecting certain things. And you didn't. You just considered there not to be any rules there. So, I mean, this is just a tiny, 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 tiny microcosm of what happens here. And we had several fights about this. We had several, good battles about this. Yeah, and I had rules, you didn't. And this shows up in all different areas where there might be something where I don't have any rules and you have rules in a given situation. So, how do you get around that? How do you get through those types of scenarios? And this is what we were talking about. The first step in this is to really have heartfelt understanding. It's to try to understand your partner. To understand that they're a person too, they have needs, they have their own rule structure that they come with, and it doesn't make it right or wrong that those rules exist, because nobody understands those rules and how they play out until you really engage in a relationship. But the important part is to be able to communicate that, to be able to discuss and talk those rules. I mean, we have a lot of rules discussions a lot of times. So what changed for us and how we worked through that?
Well, like you said, it was a lot of arguing in the beginning.
It was a lot of just not being aware of it.
Yeah, and
that causing conflict because we weren't aware of it.
Yeah, and I don't know, just your expectations were like so high to me that it was just like weird. I was like, seriously, because it was early on in our relationship when I visited you in Baltimore, and for the first time, actually Virginia, my bad. And I had never been really in the car with you before.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
then, at least when you were driving.
Okay.
So
Yeah, because I'd come out to
yeah.
LA before and we'd gone around in your car.
Yeah, in my car. So, to me, I was thinking, I was like, I don't know if I can put up with you. Like, because
Yeah, I'm a pain in the ass.
Because it was like, are you kidding? Like, what the heck? Because I just never knew, and it was just really weird to me. It was just too much for
Okay.
me. And then finally, I guess we just, I think we shouted it out instead of talked it out. It was kind of
Yeah, we did a little bit of that.
But finally, then we got to like the meaning of that, like what was really going on.
Yeah.
And then it was easier to figure out, and then it was like, oh, okay, you're not crazy.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
And that's I think that's the important piece to say is like your partner's not crazy. They're not. I mean they come with all these sets of rules and their values and all these different things, and a lot of times those rules have never even been questioned. Like I didn't question what my expectations were until we had this discussion. It was just like, wow, maybe that doesn't make sense for me, and it doesn't make sense for you. So then we ended up coming with our own rules of here's how we operate on the road, and here's what flexibility is, and it completely changed the dynamic of that, and it brought peace to that one topic. So I think that kind of wraps up. I mean, I challenge you to think about what are ways in which, what are the rules that you have in a relationship? Is there a place that you have that you typically see a lot of conflict? And typically it's a rules conflict where you have certain expectations and rules and your partner has other expectations and rules. And are those being spoken? Like, are you communicating those rules back and forth to each other in a way that makes your partner feel heard and understood? Because I think that was the real part, was to just to do a timeout and say, I love you, you love me. This isn't about that.
Yeah.
This is about, I do things a certain way, you do things a certain way, and let's work through that and come up with a way that works for both of us.
Yeah, and then at that time we weren't so keen on like pattern interrupts.
Yeah.
We really just battled it out.
Yeah.
But now
Well,
we're in a better place. So now we know just what breaks it. And another thing, I guess, like the easy thing that we always do is we just tell people to think about how long is a long time for you.
Yep.
If you just ask that one question, like, Josh, how long is a long time for you?
5 years.
Okay, and how long is a short time?
5 minutes.
Okay.
How long is a long time for you?
A year.
Okay. How long is a short time?
A month.
Okay. So just based on those, and this is really eliciting your model of the world, how you look at things and how you adapt to things. So just those presuppositions dramatically change what you think of as a long time and what I think of as a short time.
Yeah.
Because I can think of something, this is going to take forever. That, in my mind, I have that wired up differently than what you would have.
Yeah.
And vice versa. So it's important to just be aware of those things. And we could do a whole segment on just model the world, or pattern interrupts is another one. We play that game a lot just to break the other's pattern in the moment and to not link the fear, the pain of the fighting in the moment kind of stuff down.
Yeah, so I think it would be a great idea if we did pattern interrupts for our next video.
Let's
so
do it then. Yeah.
better understand what we're talking about.
Okay, we'll do that. So I think that's it for today.
Yeah.
We're good?
We're good.
Okay, we're good. So this is Josh and Cindy with Kiss&Tell, and we'll see you next time. So stay tuned. I hope you're enjoying these videos. We're enjoying making them.
Yes, we are.
And we'll continue to do it, and hope that you're going to value us. Please leave a comment, leave some feedback, leave anything you'd like.
And then give us, if you were having any kind of problem.
Any kind of issues?
Yeah, let us know, and then we'll make a video.
Do kind of a little advice column, and we could reach out to you and make videos for you. How cool is that? So, Josh and Cindy, signing off.